yogis, Carly Pearl here. Today's practice is a Hot 26 series, which means that there are 26 poses in this class. And it does have the word hot in it because it is traditionally done in a heated room. The heat's not necessarily required. It's really not required. If you really wanted to, you could bump up your heater if you wanted that extra bit of sweat. But it's not needed because we have our beautiful breaths to help facilitate that heat within. So I hope that you can find your breath and be inspired by your breath to ignite that internal flame of yours. So I hope you enjoy. We will start practice with a pranayama exercise and we will end practice with a pranayama exercise. So please meet me standing on your mat. Come to the center. Bring your big toes to touch. Heels will separate just a sliver. Feel the stability through the feet, rooting down through the three corners in each foot. Interlace the hands underneath your chin. So I'll demonstrate this first pranayama breath. The inhale is with the lips sealed as the elbows lift. The exhale is through the mouth. You create a HA sound like you're fogging up a mirror. So this is kind of what it looks like and sounds like. So the inhale, the chin comes down, the elbows lift, keeping the length of the spine. And then without back bending, right, you're just letting the head drop back. You open the mouth and exhale as you close the palms and the forearms together. Once you're empty all the way, you start again. So interlace the fingers under the chin, relax the shoulders down the back. Take a slow inhalation as you begin to lift the elbows up towards the sky, keeping the chin parallel to the earth. Fill up the lungs. Feel the texture in the back of your throat. Then open your mouth, audible exhale like you're fogging up a mirror. Close the palms, wrists, forearms, and elbows. Once you're all the way empty, bring the chin down and begin again. Inhale. Expanding the rib cage, lifting the elbows upward, reaching through the crown. Exhale, open your mouth, let the head drop back. Careful not to dump into the low back and slowly exhale through the mouth. Belly draws in once empty, chin comes down, begin again. See if you can slow the breath down to a count of 6. We'll do 3 more. Inhale for 6, 5, 4, 3. Keep expanding the ribs. 2, big breath full on 1, and then exhale through the mouth for 6, 5. Closing the forearms and elbows. 2, elbows meet on 1. Last one. Make it your fullest, deepest breath yet. Inhale. And let it go. Exhale. Bring the head down through neutral. Release the arms. Take a moment to pause. We come here to reground ourselves between each asana we do. A moment to connect to our bodies, our sensations, and just to center our minds. First pose is focusing on the spine. So you will start by interlacing the fingers and then releasing the index fingers and the thumbs, a steeple mudra. Extend the arms straight up, biceps hug into the ears. Inhale, lift up through the crown, lengthening your spine. Exhale, take it up and over to the right, leaning the hips to the left. Then just warming the spine and hips. Take an inhale, come up through center. Exhale, tick-tock over to the left. And just take that motion right and left a few times, warming up. For Ardha Chandrasana, standing half moon pose. If it feels nice, you might move the hips in a circular direction and also move the fingertips in a circle too. You're just moving the fingertips in the opposite direction of the hips. And then take it the other direction if you're moving the hips and hands in circles. And then make your way back through center. Hips are over the ankles. Quadriceps are strong, kneecaps are lifted. Squeeze the arms beside your head. Inhale to lift up out of the waist, reaching up through the fingers. Exhale, take it over to the right, and this time we hold. Focus on a point in front of you. Find your drishti. Weight is even through both feet. Hips are pressing to the left, and the right hip comes slightly forward of the left. Right shoulder slightly forward of the left. Lift out of the right waist. Notice if you're crunching into the right waistband. Imagine there's a barrel or even a beach ball, and you want to lift up and over that rounded shape to find more space on the right side body. Notice if you're crunching in the neck, lift the chin slightly away from the chest. Keep squeezing the biceps by the ears, maybe gluing the palms together if that's accessible today. 2 more breaths. Keeping the low belly engaged, bring yourself all the way back up and pause. Taking it over to the left. Inhale to lengthen, reaching out of the waist. Exhale, take it over to the left as you lean the hips to the right. Again, weight is even through both feet. Keep squeezing the thighs, pulling your muscles up towards the bones. Low belly draws in towards the back body. Left hip and left shoulder come slightly forward of the right hip and right shoulder. Neck is long and spacious as you draw the chin away from the chest. Shoulder blades pull down the back. You've got it. Stay steady with the breath. Only 3 more. Slowly the hips come all the way up over the ankles. Give a bend to the elbows. Let the head drop back and just shake it a little right and left. Getting your release in the cervical spine. Maybe the chin comes all the way down. Whatever feels nice. And then we'll take our back bend. So you can re-extend the arms and take the back bend this way, or for more support, bring the hands to the low back. I like this variation, but do what feels best to you. So if the hands are to the low back, think of pressing the palms down in towards the buttocks. Inhale to lift the sternum and the gaze, opening the chest space. Exhale as you press the hips forward, begin to follow the gaze along the ceiling. Keep pressing hips forward, maybe letting the head drop back. If the arms are extended, keep the elbows straight and keep squeezing the palms together. Just 2 more breaths here. Slowly come out of it. If the arms are down, re-extend the arms straight up, steeple mudra. Take an inhale here, lengthening the spine. Exhale, bend the knees deeply, slowly hinge at the hips as you fold your belly to your thighs and release the hands down to your mat. Pedal out one leg and then the other, just getting your release through the hips and the low back. It might feel nice to take a deep squat. And then we come into Padahastasana, hands to feet pose. So in this variation, we cup the heels from behind. So bend the knees a lot so that you can find that connection. Pinky fingers will touch. Knees stay bent as you wrap the forearms around the calves, drawing the elbows as close together as you can. The most important element of this shape is to keep the belly to thigh connection. Now slowly start to pull up on the heels using the strength of your arms. Hips begin to lift as the head drops. Let the head draw in towards the shins. Pull the shoulder blades down the back, so away from the ears. Use the strength of your arms to facilitate this deep forward fold. Breathe your belly against your thighs. One more full breath here. And then slowly re-bend the knees. Come back to the steeple mudra. Squeeze the biceps beside the ears and rise with a flat back. Inhale takes you all the way up. Exhale, arms release, Samastitihi, to reset, to take a breath. Nice work. Now into awkward pose, Utkatasana. It's a 3-part pose. So the feet now come hips width distance, toes right in front of heels. It's about 6 inches, but really just think of the width of your hips, right? Feet are that wide. Then arms extend forward in front of you, palms are turned down, fingers are glued together. Inhale, feel the prana, the energy lifting you up, lengthening your spine. As you exhale, weight is in the heels. Sit your hips towards the back of your mat. Roll the inner thighs down. Torso will come forward a little bit. Stay active through the arms. Keep reaching them forward. Quads are engaged. Heat is building. Can you sink the hips back a little bit deeper, pulling the navel in and up? Good. Press down through the feet and rise up. Arms stay extended for all 3 parts. Second part, come up high to the tippy toes, rolling the weight forward to the big toe mounds. Keep the length of your spine. Imagine that you're standing against a wall and you're slowly going to bend your knees and imagine sliding along that wall, keeping the shoulders over the hips. Now when the heels begin to drop down towards your mat, that's the signal in your body to come up a little bit. Active through the arms, keep reaching even through the fingertips. Hear your breath. Maybe sink down a little deeper. Press down through the balls of the feet, rising up, legs straight, then heels release. Third and final part of this awkward series, come up halfway to the balls of the feet, glue the knees and inner thighs together. Take an inhale. Keeping that connection of inner thighs, begin to slowly again traveling along that imaginary back wall. We want to keep that downward slope of the thighs. Hips stay lifted above the knees. Arms are extending, strong arms. Plug the upper arms back into the shoulder sockets. Imagine if you had a tennis ball at your pelvis. You would want it to roll forward and off. So notice if the hips are all the way down in line with the knees. Can you lift them up a little higher? One more breath. Squeeze to slowly rise. Heels down, arms down. Pause and take a breath. Notice the heart rate. Notice the breath. Observe the sensations. All right, toe heel the feet back together to touch. Eagle pose, Garudasana. Arms reach all the way up, inhale. Exhale, wrap the right arm underneath the left. You can either intertwine the forearms so the palms connect, or hands can grab a hold of the shoulder heads. From here, draw the elbows down towards the earth. Bend your knees, sink back into your chair pose. Now the weight shifts into the left foot. Begin to lift the right thigh up and ravel it over the left. You can either set the right toes down using them like a kickstand, or you can wrap them around the left calf. So imagine you're in chair, the weight is in the left heel. The hips are sinking back, and the chest is also leaning back. In this variation of eagle, the elbows are pulling down. Press the forearms away from your face. You've got this. Keep squeezing the inner thighs together. Opening up all major joints in the body. 2 more breaths. Maybe sinking a little bit deeper. Then slowly first release the legs. Then inhale, the arms reach all the way up. Right into second side. Exhale, left arm wraps under the right. Elbows and shoulders pull down. Bend the knees, sink back into your chair. Weight shifts into the right foot. Pick the left thigh up, wrap it over the right. Use the left toes like a kickstand, or wrap them all the way around the right calf. Sink the hips back. Squeeze those inner thighs. Lean the spine back as much as possible. Keep pulling the elbows down. This pose is so good for your reproductive organs. It's almost like creating a tourniquet in the body, so that when we release the pose, all that fresh, oxygenated blood comes back into the limbs. 2 more breaths here. Challenge yourself. These longer holds are opportunities that the longer we hold, the deeper you can express yourself in them. The final moments are your opportunity to do that. And then unwind. First the legs, then the arms. Inhale, sweep them up. Exhale, arms release. Close the eyes if it helps to bring yourself into this moment, to reconnect with your breath and your body. Standing forehead to knee pose. Shift the weight into your left foot and draw the right knee up. Interlace your fingers around the right shin. Right foot is relaxed. Now there's many layers to this pose. Really listen to your body and go step by step. So you're welcome to stay lifted and extended in the spine just like this. If you'd like to move on a little deeper, begin to round the spine like cat pose over the right thigh. Interlace the fingers under the right foot, the sole of the foot, so that your foot is flexed to find that connection. Now, notice sometimes the tendency is to really round and that knee comes beneath the hip. So try to keep the right thigh parallel to your mat. Again, ankle is flexed and you're gently pressing your foot in towards your hands, rounding the back. If you can keep this connection and your left leg is straight, you could begin to extend the right leg forward, flexing the ankle. Only if both legs are straight will you begin to bend both elbows, squeezing them into the right thigh. Final expression is forehead to knee. So you'll tuck your chin in towards your chest and begin to bring the forehead down to the knee. But again, don't force the pose. Come back one layer if you feel fatigued, if you feel any strain in your body. Just 2 more breaths. Carefully release the right foot down. Come out one layer at a time. Lift the torso up. We'll take a little counter pose, hands to the low back. Inhale, draw the buttocks down, lift the sternum and gaze. Exhale, press the hips forward, let the head fall back. Slowly bring the spine back up, release the arms, take a breath. So to keep that internal heat, lips stay sealed in this sequence. Right, really feel the texture and the viscosity of the breath in the throat and in the lungs. All right, second side. Shift the weight into the right foot, draw the left knee up, interlace the fingers around the left shin. This is layer 1. You're welcome to stay. Take it slow and gradual. If you're moving on, second layer, begin to round over the left leg, interlace the fingers under the sole of your left foot so your left ankle is flexed. You can gently press your foot down into your palms, really feeling the rounding sensation in the spine. Now we want to be careful not to lock the right knee. Some teachers cue this pose to lock. That does not feel good or safe in my body. I find more stability and engagement when there's a soft micro bend, but still lifting the kneecap up. If the right leg is mostly straight, just with that micro bend, you can begin to kick the left leg forward. Spine can stay extended to begin. When the left leg becomes straight as well, then you start to bend the elbows, squeezing them into the left calf. Final expression, tuck the chin towards the chest. Begin to round the spine, bringing the forehead towards the kneecap. If you fall out, don't worry, just come back in your own time. You've got 3 more breaths. Come out one layer at a time, release the foot, stand tall, left foot sets down. You did it, good job. Hands to low back. Inhale, lift the sternum and gaze. Exhale, hips press forward, head can drop back if that's okay in the neck. Slowly make your way all the way up, release the arms, and pause. reconnect to breath, to body, to mind. Standing bow pulling pose. So we're getting all the balancing poses done first. We'll do one before we hit the floor as well. So this one you can also use a wall, so you can turn and face the wall with maybe 3 feet between your foot and the wall, your choice. So you'll shift the weight into your left foot, bend the right knee, reach back to grab the inner arch. So the tendency is for people to internally rotate their arm and grab the outer edge of the foot, or even extra internal rotation, really rotating the arm. So palm stays open, grab the inner arch so that your thumb is turned up. That creates more space in the chest cavity. Left arm extends high. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Take an inhale to lift the chest, reaching through the left arm. As you exhale, just kick the right foot back into the right hand. So you're not hinging at the hips just yet, just kick. Kick, kick, kick. Then, from the hips, begin to bring the torso forward. In this variation, right, this isn't dancer pose, this is standing bow pulling. So the pelvis stays neutral. The right hip is closed down. Keep reaching through the left arm, maybe bringing the torso forward a little bit more. Strengthening that right quad, opening up the spine. Keep the gaze of the eyes, the drishti, steady. That will steady the body and calm the mind. 2 more breaths. Slowly kick to release. Stand tall. Right foot lowers, left arm lowers. Pause, maybe close the eyes. And breathe. Second side. Turn the left palm open, so left elbow bends into left waist, right arm extends high. Keeping the palm open, shift the weight into your right foot, bend the left knee. Thumb stays up as you grab the inner arch of your left foot. Realign the knees and thighs. Inhale to feel that lift and extension in the spine. Exhale, keep the lift, just kick the foot back into your hand. Just kicking. Now hinging from the hips, bring the torso forward. Keep extending through the right arm. It's an equal 50-50 reach and kick. The harder you kick your foot back into your hand, the deeper the twist in the upper back. The left shoulder head begins to peel back behind you. Gaze is past the right fingers. This is a great pose to build your concentration, to find focus and determination. 2 more breaths. Be patient. And there's a kick to release. Come up, left foot lowers, right arm lowers. Close the eyes if you'd like. Breathe. Such good work, you guys. Please come to the back of your mat. 1 more balancing pose, and then we'll switch it up. So this is balancing stick. Feet come together to touch, arms extend up. Again, that steeple mudra. Fingers interlace, thumbs cross, and index fingers release. Extend through the arms, elbows are straight. Step the right foot forward about 1 foot or 1.5 feet in front of you. Come to the ball of the left foot. Keep the pelvis neutral. Inhale to reach through the crown and fingers. Exhale, hinge at the hips, come forward halfway. Creating a line of energy from toes to fingers. Point the left toes. Imagine you're being pulled in 2 directions. You're extending through the left leg, reaching through the spine and arms. Breathe. You've got it. 2 more breaths. Slowly come all the way up. Step the left foot back. The right foot meets it. Straight into the second side. Left foot steps forward about 1 foot or 1.5 feet. Come to the ball of the right foot. Inhale to lengthen and lift the heart. Exhale from the hips, tip forward. Creating the capital letter T from the side. Drop the right frontal hip bone down. Point the right toes, reach out through them. Keep squeezing the upper arms by the ears. You've got it. 2 more breaths. And slowly come up. Right foot down, left foot meets right, arms release. Close the eyes, take a breath. Awesome work, you guys. If you have some water, now's a good time to grab a sip. Just don't drink too much. We're gonna do some inversions now with the head beneath the heart. So just a little sip if you'd like. And then please meet me at the top of your mat. Take a quarter turn to the right. From here, arms extend all the way up on the inhale. Palms touch, thumbs cross. Give a little bend to the knees and step the right foot out into a wide forefoot stance. Pigeon the toes in slightly, lower the arms parallel to the earth. Inhale, lift the heart, energy drawing you up, prana, life force energy. Exhale, hinge at the hips, keeping the arms expanding wide. Lower down, hands touch the mat. From here, grab a hold of the outer shins, ankles, or if you can, cup the heels from behind. Inhale to lengthen your spine, reaching your crown forward. Exhale, pull on the heels or the grip that you have on the legs. Begin to bring the crown of your head down towards the earth. Elbows begin to bend out wide. Just like we did in Padahastasana, pull up on the heels to elongate your spine. Shoulder blades pull down the back, away from the ears. Heart rate is slowing down. Slowly release the heels or the grip that you have on the legs. Give a little bend to the knees, open the arms wide. Inhale to rise all the way up, leading with the chest. Exhale, give a bend to the right knee, step forward, top of the mat, arms overhead, palms connect, and exhale, arms down. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, take a wide forefoot step once more. Arms lower down to a T. This time, turn your right toes out to face the back of the mat. And give a bend into your right knee. Keep bending, warming up into the hip. So this is the hot 26 version of triangle or Trikonasana. Then come into your depth. Just make sure that your knee doesn't come over the ankle. So then go longer in the stance if it does. Lift up through the pelvic floor. Imagine hugging the feet together at the center of the mat. Turn the palms towards me. Flip the arms 6 and 12. Keep the hips where they are. Just bring the torso forward. Right elbow presses against the right knee. Fingertips are reaching down towards the right toes. Gaze past the left fingertips. Now, as you find more depth into the hips, maybe the fingertips come down in between the big toe and the second toe. There's a little rotation in the upper back, peeling the left rib cage back. Keep that left quadricep strong and active, kneecap is lifted. Heart and lungs are working together. Breathe deeply to slow the heart rate. Two more breaths, you've got it. Slowly bring the torso and arms up, straighten the right leg, and turn the right toes in, left toes out. Again, give a couple deep bends into your left knee, warming up the hip and knee joints. Then find your depth, go as long as you need in your stance, making sure the knee comes, it can either come behind the ankle or over it, just not past. Palms are still turned, arms to 6 and 12. Hips stay where they are, just bring the torso forward, pressing the left elbow against the inner left knee. Right arm extending high, little rotation in the upper back. Spiraling the right ribs open. Maybe you find more depth into the hips, lowering left fingers in between the big toe and the second toe. Last 3 breaths. Keep the legs as they are, torso comes up, straighten the left leg, turn the left toes in. Give a bend to your right knee, step back to the top of the mat, arms extend up, inhale, and arms release, exhale. Close the eyes, take a moment to pause. Good, then arms reach all the way up, inhale. This time just take a 3-foot step out to the right. Pivot on both heels to face the back of your mat. Palms are in prayer, thumbs are crossed. And then bring the left hip forward, right hip back a few times. Squaring the pelvis to the back of the mat. Then keep them square. Squeeze the palms together. Inhale to lift you up and lengthen your spine. Exhale, begin to round. Draw the chin in towards the throat. Round the back, coming all the way down. Once you're down, keep the compression, the rounding of the spine. Lower the hands to either side of your foot. Bend your right knee as much as you need to bring your forehead to meet your kneecap. The name of the pose is forehead to knee pose, so make that connection. It's a little bit uncomfortable because you have to compress the throat so much. Stay with it. If you can keep the forehead connected to the knee, you can start to straighten the right leg. If you lose it, rebend the right knee. Keep pulling the belly in and up. It's a really deep compression pose. Slowly bring the palms back to prayer. We exit the same way we entered, round up. 1 vertebra at a time. Chin is the last to lift. Good, pivot on both feet facing the side of your mat. And again, once more facing the back of your mat or the front of your mat. I'm turned around now. Rotate the right hip forward, left hip back. Square the pelvis off. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, tuck the chin to the chest, slowly round down. Compressing the throat, Jalandhara Bandha. Release the hands to either side of your foot. Bend your left knee as much as you need to. Bring the forehead towards the kneecap. Try to get them to touch. Keep rounding the spine, pulling the belly button in and up. Right hip forward, left hip back. If you need to, come onto fingertips or blocks too. And slowly bring the palms back to prayer. Curl up 1 vertebra at a time, articulating the spine. Once lifted, pivot on the feet, face the side of your mat, and make that step back up to the top or back of your mat, wherever you are. Arms release, close the eyes. Take a breath and center yourself. All right, we have 1 more standing balancing pose, and then we start to cool down on the floor. So you can face the top of your mat. I will face you for toe stand, for tree or toe stand. I'll show you the options. So shift the weight into your left foot, draw the right knee up, and then externally rotate the femur bone so the right knee opens to the side as you draw your right foot up towards the left hip. Try to get the foot up as high as you can onto the hip, using your left hand for support. Right hand comes to half prayer. So you're externally rotating the right hip, pressing the right knee down and back. You can use your left hand to keep your left foot in place, but the idea is to press your foot against your hip or your thigh so that it stays there. And if it does, left hand meets the right. Now, if the hand is still there, perfectly fine. Just stay there, find your center, breathe and balance. If the foot can stay in place and you'd like to try toe stand, from here, hands to heart, hinge at the hips and slowly fold. Coming down with a long spine, fingertips touch the mat. Then begin to bend the left knee as you sink the hips down. From here, start to walk the fingertips back. Bring them just outside of the hips. Then the fingertips start to hover. Gaze is down in front of you. The next step is to bring one hand to half prayer, then the other hand to prayer. From here, lift the buttocks away from the left heel. Last step is to move the drishti up. 2 more breaths. If you're in toe stand, lower fingertips down, straighten the left leg. Take your time as you begin to rise. Hands come through heart center, all meeting back in tree. And then we all set the right foot down and release the arms. Do whatever you need to release the joints. And then find stillness once more. Take a breath. Second side. Shift the weight into the right foot. Draw the left knee up. Use the right hand to get that foot up really high onto the right hip. We want it on the right frontal hip bone if possible. Use the right hand to assist you. Keep opening the left hip, dropping the knee down, pressing it back. Left hand comes to half prayer. Keep pressing the left foot against the right hip and thigh. If it can stay in place, right hand meets left. Lift the sternum towards the thumbs. If both palms are in prayer and you're moving on to toe stand, hinge from the hips and begin to fold with a flat back. Fingertips touch down. Give a bend into your right knee. Drawing the hips back to the right heel. Walk the fingertips back under the shoulders. Gaze is still down at this point. Once you find your balance, bring one hand to half prayer. The other hand meets. Lift the buttocks up away from the right heel, using the quads. Then gaze lifts last. Be patient with yourself. There's usually one side that's always a little harder to do. Toe stands, fingertips release to the earth. Begin to straighten the right leg. Take your time. We all meet back in tree. And then the left foot lowers. Shake out the legs, do whatever you need. Find a little release. We did it. Let's hit the floor. So from the top of your mat, inhale, sweep the arms high. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, coming onto fingertips, flattening the back. Exhale, ball pose, crouch and curl. Draw the chin in towards your chest, round the spine. Take a full inhale, full exhale. Lift the gaze, slowly take a seat and recline all the way down into your back. As we hit the floor, we come into corpse pose. However, this corpse pose is a more alert and conscious little transition. So the eyes stay open. Gaze at a point on the ceiling. Feel the body becoming heavy and relaxing. Breath is slowing. Be a witness to your breath, to the sensations, to any thoughts. And imagine your thoughts like clouds amongst the sky. You notice them, you see them, you acknowledge them, and then you allow them to gently float away without attaching to any of them. Just simply watching. Next pose on the floor is wind removing. So bring the legs to meet and you'll draw your right knee up. Interlace your fingers 1 to 2 inches beneath the right kneecap and open the right hip up so the knee draws away from the midline Then pull your right knee in towards your right armpit. Plant the shoulder blades down against your mat, and then activate the left leg. So you're flexing the ankle, reaching out through the heel. We're massaging the ascending colon, a deep compression of the lower abdominals. Take a full breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, pull the right knee in towards the right armpit, getting a tighter compression. Again, full breath in. Exhale, tight squeeze, drawing the knee in towards the armpit. And one more, inhale. And exhale. And then slowly release, extend the right leg forward. Left knee draws up, fingers interlace 1 to 2 inches under the kneecap. Open the left hip up, hip abduction, then draw the left knee in towards the armpit, avoiding the rib cage. Plant the shoulder blades down on your mat, slight tuck of the chin. Full expansive breath, filling up your lungs. Exhale to contract, massaging the descending colon. Pull the left knee in as tightly as you can. And this pose is so good for your digestive system and your metabolism. Getting things moving, right? One more breath. Exhale to squeeze. Good, left leg extends forward. Then both knees come into the chest. Lift the head, wrap the arms around the shins. Grab a hold of opposite forearm, wrist, or elbow if you can find that connection. Release the head back down. So the entire spine is long and imprinted against your mat. Draw down through the tailbone. Again, pull the shoulder blades against your mat. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Really big compression. Exhale, pull the knees in towards the abdominals. Again, inhale. Exhale, tight squeeze. Last one, breathe in. Compress and breathe out. Nice work. Extend the legs forward in front of you. So this is our hot yoga sit-up. Arms extend, interlock the thumbs, flex the ankles. So once we come up, so what's going to happen is we're going to inhale, come up, the torso comes perpendicular to the earth. That's the start of our double exhale through the mouth. So this is the only time we open the mouth and exhale. Ready? Inhale to sit up, lift the torso, reach for the toes, and let out. So it's 2 little exhales, like a Let's try it one more time. Lay back, ankles are flexed. Interlock the thumbs, full breath in, lifting the heart. Sit up, double exhale. Good, from here, swing the feet to the back of your mat and come onto your belly. Now for some belly down back bends, we'll start with Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. Feet can be hips width distance or big toes touching. Feet hips width will provide a little more space in the low back. Walk the hands back in line with the middle of the ribs. Engage the quads, lift the kneecaps. Inhale, press down through the pubic bone and lift the heart and gaze. Soft gaze off of the nose. Shoulder heads roll away from the chest. Elbows hug in. Little to no weight in the hands. You might hover them. Keep those quads nice and strong. Knees are lifted. Peel up a little higher. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Set your left cheek down. Relax your arms beside your body with the palms open and let the heels flop out. Relax the body and observe the breath. Observe the sensations. Savasana, bound locust pose. Bring the chin forward. One at a time, lift the hips to roll the hands underneath them. So the palms turn down against your mat. The backs of your hands are touching your thighs. And really try to walk your hands down towards the knees as much as you can. From here, bring your lips down to your mat. Slowly lift just the right leg up. So you're pressing the right hip bone down into your right forearm or your right wrist. Keep extending through the right leg, pointing the toes back. Maybe get that leg a little higher if you can. Then right foot lowers down, left leg lifts up. Straighten the leg, point the toes, keep reaching them back. Weight shifts to the upper body. Feel the compression of your left hip against your left forearm or your wrist. Maybe get that leg a little bit higher, and then release. From here, both legs lift at the same time. So bring the lips down to the mat again and shimmy the hands a little further down as far as you can, really getting the forearms underneath you towards the midline of the body. Palms are flat. Now again, shift the weight forward to the shoulders. You're slowly going to lift up both legs at the same time. I won't really be able to talk to you during this one, so take it slow. Legs slowly lower down, arms release out from under you. Set your right cheek down to your mat. Feel the tingling sensation in the arms and in the hands, the fresh blood coming in. Chin comes forward for full locust pose, Purna Salabhasana. Arms come out wide to a T. They can even be slightly back, kind of like airplane wings. Slowly on the inhale, lift the chest, head, arms, and legs. Like you're Superwoman or Superman, flying forward and off of your mat. So try to get the pelvis and the soft part of the belly touching the mat, and everything else is drawing you up. Reaching back through the fingers and the toes. Legs are engaged, kneecaps lifted. 2 more breaths. Strengthening the back body. Lift up a little higher and lower down. Left cheek rests to the mat. Palms open, eyes closed. Feel your heartbeat against your mat. Feel the rise and fall of your back body. One more belly down back bend, Dhanurasana, bow pulling pose. Chin comes forward on the mat. Bend both knees, reach back to grab the outer edges of the feet. From here, bring the knees together as close as you can. On the inhale, kick the feet back into the hands. Lifting the chest and head. Again, the weight is on the soft part of the belly. Keep kicking the feet back, opening up the chest and shoulders. Take little sips of breath to keep you in it. Challenge yourself, meeting your edge. 2 more breaths. Slowly release, forehead comes down, and then plant your palms underneath your forehead, stacking the hands. Windshield wiper the feet right and left, getting a release in the low back. Extend the legs straight back behind you, hands plant under the shoulders, press yourself back, and walk your knees forward towards the top of your mat. Fixed firm pose. So the knees come together to touch. Feet open wide, wider than the hips. I like to kind of lift my calf muscles to make space for my thighs as you draw the hips down between the heels. If you have tight hips or injuries within the knee or tight knees, then you can either sit hips to heels. If you have a block, it's really helpful under the buttocks, or you just don't sit the hips all the way down and you stay upright. Listen to your knees, right? Listen to your body. So option to stay right here, staying upright, breathing. If you feel good in the knees and the hips and in the thighs, hands come to the feet. Slowly lower down one forearm, then the other. Pause. Uplift the heart. Then let the crown of the head drop back. If you still feel good in the knees, lower the crown of the head, tuck the chin in towards the chest, lowering the upper back. Keep pressing the knees down and towards the mat if you are fully reclined. From here, arms can come up overhead and you can clasp opposite elbow. Great quad stretch, opening up the hips and the knees. And if you're reclined, you're getting a little back bend too. If you're all the way reclined, bring your hands back to the soles of the feet. Press down through the forearms and slowly make your way up. Press down through the palms, coming up. Lift the hips, and then it can feel nice to just kick out the feet a little bit, bringing the fresh blood back in, feeling a little release. And then come towards the middle or back of your mat. Sit your hips to your heels, big toes are touching for half tortoise pose. Inhale, the arms extend up overhead, palms in prayer, thumbs cross. Try to keep your buttocks connected to your heels. Feel that connection. Inhale, length moving you up, lifting the heart, extending the arms high. Exhale, try to keep the hips heavy without letting them lift off the heels. Hinge at the hips and slowly lower down. See if you can get your forehead and nose to touch your mat before your pinky fingers do. I didn't do it, so don't feel bad if you didn't. From here, the arms stay extended. Squeeze the biceps into the ears. Press down through both pinkies. The wrists and the forearms are lifted off of your mat. Root down through the hips, pressing the tailbone towards the heels. Press down through the pinkies, squeezing the palms together. Breathe space into the backs of your lungs. Again, try to keep the hips heavy on the heels. Slowly rise up the same way we came in, we come out. Long spine, and then arms release all the way down. One more back bend for practice. Come up to a kneeling position on the shins. Knees are hips width distance. You can measure with 2 fists just to be sure. So knees right under the hips. Hands come to the low back for camel pose. Again, imagine pressing the buttocks down, creating space in the sacrum and in the lumbar spine. Inhale, lengthen the side body, lift the front body. Gaze follows that movement. As you exhale, press the hips forward, maybe let the head go back. If you feel okay in the low back, lower your right hand to your right heel, left hand to left heel. You can also curl the toes underneath you to elevate the heels a little bit and find that connection. If you feel any pinching or strain in the low back, bring your hands back there. Keep pressing the palms down, lifting the heart space. 3 more breaths. If your hands were on your heels, bring your hands back to your low back. Slowly press down to lift the torso up. Connect your big toes, sit your buttocks to your heels. Turn your palms open on your thighs and close your eyes. Just be with yourself in any sensations or emotions that surface. It's not uncommon for things to bubble up after big back bends or heart openers. Simply notice and then let whatever shows up, let it go. There's no need to attach. Let's take one more round of camel. Slowly rise up. This time knees can come a little bit wider than the hips. Hands come to low back to start. Inhale, lift up through the chest. Gaze follows that movement. Hips press forward. Slowly let the head drop. You can stay, but now you're even warmer, so you might try lowering one hand to one heel, the other hand to the other heel, as long as you don't feel strain or tension in the low back. Bring one hand to one hip, the other hand to the other hip. Slowly come up. Kiss the big toes, sit the hips back to the heels. And one more time, we pause, we breathe, we observe. Connecting to our bodies and the wisdom of our bodies is so important. All right, let's take a forward fold to counter those back bends. Rabbit pose. So you'll stay in the same position. The knees and the big toes are touching. Hands come back to wrap around the heels. If you have a towel, it can be helpful to wrap it around the heels to give you a better grip. From here, we start that compression like forehead to knee. Tuck the chin in towards the chest. Slowly around the spine. You're creating a throat bandha, Jalandhara. Drawing the chin in towards the throat, rounding, 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 all the way down. Crown of the head comes down towards the earth. We want the forehead to meet the knees. If they're not meeting, stay here. If they are, begin to pull on the heels and lift the hips up. Please do not look right or left in this pose as the neck is compressed. If the hips are lifted, there's only about 5 to 10% of your body weight in your head. The majority is in the shins. Pull up on the heels, lift those hips. If you lost the forehead to knee connection, you can walk the knees in a little bit. Slowly lower the hips back to the heels. Articulate the spine. Slowly coming up back to extension. Pause for a moment. From here, roll off onto the hips. Extend the right leg out 45 degrees. Fold the left leg in so that the sole of the left foot meets the right inner thigh. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, turn to face the right leg. Fold over as you grab either side of your foot. Same idea, forehead to knee, Janu Sirsasana. Bend the right knee, bring the forehead to meet it. Try to keep that connection. From here, you can slowly begin to straighten the right leg a little bit at a time. Right ankle is flexed. Left thigh is rolling open, externally rotating. Full body breaths. Slowly come all the way up, arms extend high, and then arms release. Switching sides, left leg extends out 45 degrees, right leg folds in. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, turn to face the left leg, fold over the leg. Bend the left knee as much as you need to bring the forehead close to it. Find that connection. Then slowly start to straighten the left leg any amount, keeping the forehead and knee touching. Elbows dropping down. Back body is opening. Left ankle is flexed. Slowly come all the way up, arms extend high, inhale, and arms release down, exhale. Extend both legs forward in front of you. Now for a twist, cross the right foot over the left knee corner. Ardha Matsyendrasana. You can keep the left leg extended, or you can also bend the left knee, bringing the left foot to the outer right hip. Now, if you took the bend in the left knee and the right hip lifted, I would re-extend the leg. We want to ground down through both sitting bones. Right fingertips come behind your back. Inhale, left arm high, opening the chest. Exhale, twist and hook your left elbow to your outer right knee. Take an inhale, sitting tall, lifting through the crown. Exhale, slowly twisting the thoracic spine. Not twisting with the eyes, right? Just allowing the eyes to softly follow the direction of the spine. Pull the right shoulder blade down the back. The inhale is to grow tall and expand the rib cage, and the exhale is to pull the navel in, wringing it out, twisting a little deeper. Slowly release. Switch the legs. You can lean back and do a little swap. Again, your right leg can stay extended, or you can also fold the right leg back as long as that left sit bone is grounded. Find your foundation through the sitting bones. Sit up tall. Left fingertips come behind the back. Inhale, right arm high, opening the chest. Exhale, hook the right elbow to the outer left knee. Inhale, sit up tall, open the chest. Exhale, twist in the upper back, spinning the left rib cage back. Pull the left shoulder blade down the back. Slowly unwind, uncross the left foot, and make your way to a seated position with hips to the heels. As I mentioned, we start practice with pranayama and we end it with pranayama. This final breath is called breath of fire, kalabati. It's a quick snapping of the low belly in towards the spine, purely an exhale breath through the mouth. The inhale you'll find will come naturally. So the arms will extend forward on the thighs, elbows straight, fingertips glued together. Sit up really tall, relax the shoulders, relax the jaw, even close the eyes. So the breath sounds like this. Snapping, pulsing the belly in and letting it go through the mouth. So we'll just do one long round, okay? Stay with me if you can. Take rest when you need and then meet me back when ready. Inhale, sit up tall and begin. And release. Take a slow, full inhale through the nose and let it go through the nose. Great work, you guys. Please make your way all the way down onto your back for Savasana. Extend the legs forward, open them up wider than your hips. Pull the shoulder blades down the back, turn the palms open. Let the eyes become heavy as they roll back into their sockets. Separate the teeth and feel the hollows within the cheekbones. Notice your heels as they sink into the earth. Let your pelvis become heavy. Shoulders and arms sinking down. Skull also heavy. Let go of any breath control. Let it be free and natural. Let it move where it does naturally. And let go of control, of effort, of anything that's been weighing on you or burdening you. Let it go now and simply be. Life breathing you. Slowly begin to deepen your breath, awakening your prana. Wiggle your fingers and your toes, roll your wrists and your ankles. Take a full body stretch, arms come overhead, extend the legs, point the toes. And then bend one knee into your chest and then the other. Roll off to one side and allow your eyes to stay closed, keeping your awareness within. And then with ease, press yourself upright into a seat, uniting your palms at heart center. Take another moment to connect to